Hey guys, Fizz here, and today we're back with another top 10 best maps, but this time we're taking a look back to 2009's Modern Warfare 2, considered by many to have some of the best maps in Call of Duty history, and I agree, but this game, it really does have a lot of really good maps that hold a lot of special places in my heart, and it was really difficult to narrow it down to just 10. So if you can think of some that aren't on this list but you feel should be, just keep in mind it was difficult to put them in order, and just, comment down below if you feel that I missed some. Anyways, let's kick things off with number 10. Overpass. Now, Overpass was a great map back in the day. Heck, it still is. And if you can get into a lobby on this map, you're bound to have a fun time. This map is actually a bit larger than some of the others on this list, and it's got a lot of brush and buildings, but still somehow rushing is a viable tactic. This map is very aesthetically pleasing as well, somehow managing to look gorgeous nearly 6 years later, and it has definitely earned its spot as number 10 on this list. At number 9 we have Invasion, which is a perfect example of the urban close quarters combat that made this game's map design work so well. We had tons of buildings, tons of really close engagements, with a few high buildings and rooftops for the sniper folk, as well as some decent sight lines. However, you never feel like sniper fodder when traversing the map, and if you and your team know what you're doing, you can control the map quite well. Always fun to play on this map. The tanks and the various pathways around the edges of the map, They led to some pretty fun moments, especially in this room here, people camping behind this little thing here. You'd have people running in with shotguns and just, kind of ruining your career, but it's okay, because this map was always just a blast to play on. Tons of memories with this map as well. Estate. Now, this map brings some feels alone for the campaign mission that took place here, but it's also a great asymmetrical multiplayer map that is essentially sniper heaven. The whole map is brush buildings and long sight lines. The estate itself can also get pretty chaotic, with all the various teams fighting for supremacy inside of the estate, and the surrounding area, of course. There's actually a choke point right outside of the estate's front door, as, the snipers and shotgun SMG players would all kind of have a standoff right outside the door. And then the rest of the snipers would kind of just sit in this building here, looking out of these windows, and, they'd take shots off of the people down below. And then, the choke point I was talking about is right over here, past these cars. You'd have SMG players pouring in from here as the snipers were giving them cover fire. It was just all around pretty chaotic, and just a lot of good memories on this map. It's a good map, At number 7, we have Scrapyard, definitely a fan favorite. Scrapyard is one of Infinity Ward's best 3-lane maps, which they actually don't make a lot of. However, this one is great. You have the 4 buildings on each side of the map that both teams fight for control of, but you also have the middle area, which is a chaotic zone full of bullets, explosions, and gloriousness that takes place among the scrapped remains of a plane. Definitely a lot of fun, classic map that never disappoints when it pops up in rotation. Ghosts had a reimagining of this map. However, the brush around the buildings and the lower level that they added really ruined the flow, and you would have ghillie snipers camping in the brush buildings because they would blend in so well, and it wasn't a good version. But the Modern Warfare 2 version is excellent, and it has earned its number 7 spot. At the number 6 spot, we have Favela. Now, Favela is quite a controversial map, as just a couple years ago, Infinity Ward had to remove the map from the game and edit it because of a piece of art that offended the Muslim religion. However, this map is still excellent, one of the only vertical maps that Infinity Ward created. This map is a vertical map done right, however. This map is straight up urban goodness, with all the buildings and tight spaces, but also the courtyard in the middle that all the players love to flock to, made them easy targets for my chopper gunner. But the high density building area was great too. Always a good map to play in free-for-all, because you were never quite sure where anyone else was at. But I have a lot of good memories on this map. Very fun map to play. Very close, near and dear to my heart. This map was actually brought into Ghosts as well. However, they didn't even touch the layout, and it played quite well because they didn't, bother changing it like they did with Scrapyard and some of the other DLCs that they brought into Ghosts. They didn't even change the name, they just brought it over strictly as Favela, because we all know why it did so well. But yeah, great map, definitely earned the number 6 spot. Coming in at number 5, we have HIGHRISE. Now, Advanced Warfare players know this map as SKYRISE, and both versions play exceptionally well. However, for the sake of this video, we're talking about the Modern Warfare 2 version. So HIGHRISE takes place on top of a building with cranes and other machinery hovering over you, which you can actually get on if you're skilled in the ways of the jump, unlike me. HIGHRISE is just one of those classic maps that everyone just seemed to love right away. And even now, almost 6 years after it came out, you still have people who are begging for it to be brought back. You know, luckily those people's requests were heard, as this is the second of the 2 remade maps available in Advanced Warfare, at least so far. But HIGHRISE, you know, HIGHRISE always played pretty well. The assault rifle players and the snipers pretty much dominated, thanks to the long sight lines. And this is another 3-lane map. However, the bottom middle section gave way to a small tunnel-like system that allowed the player to, you know, avoid the snipers and SMG the baddies to death from behind. Of course, you know, the snipers caught on to this and started putting claymores down there. But, you know, HIGHRISE is a great, classic map, and, you know, I think the majority of people will agree that it does deserve to be on this list. Coming in at the number 4 slot, we have my personal favorite map in Call of Duty history, Skid Row. Now, this map was urban combat at its finest. We had lots of pathways, a few buildings littered throughout, but we also had tons of, you know, the hot engagement areas that were always filled with players. You'd have people on the staircase peeping over the top step trying to take out players in the hallways. Meanwhile, you had people guarding the C flag on the minigun turret overlooking the playground, and you just had all the snipers quickscoping in the middle or in the back of that building, and it was just the map that always played well. You know, I really love this map, and I do hope that it does come back in the future Call of Duty, you know, someday. Receiving our bronze medal today is Subbase. Now, this map was just fantastic. It was asymmetrical, but both teams had their own base essentially. And it was always a cluster in the middle as teams would just bomb the hell out of each other. While, you know, some of the smarter players took the back routes. This map is an SMG player's wet dream, as speed and fire rate will propel you above the rest in this close quarters Arctic map. This map has, in my opinion, the best layout in the whole game, and it plays really well too. You know, I would actually kill to see this map make a return someday as well. Receiving our silver medal today is Rust. Now, in my previous video, I briefly mentioned Rust in a comparison to Shipment, and it's easy to make the comparison. Rust is Modern Warfare 2's smallest map, and as such, it was home to all the 1v1s that took place. You had to settle some beef, this is where you did it. Whip out the intervention, and quickscope that scrub into oblivion. Just, you know, make sure to get a sick trick shot in the final kill cam, or else what's the point, am I right? But coming in at number 1, and receiving today's gold medal is Terminal. And of course, it's Terminal. Was there ever any doubts? Terminal is an amazing map. Like, seriously, it's the most fun map Infinity Ward has ever created. And I would wager to say that it is the most iconic map in Modern Warfare 2. Everything from the plane in the middle, to the metal detectors, to the gift shop, even just the outside areas, this map is just perfect. It's just an amazing, amazing map. They brought it into Modern Warfare 3 as a free DLC, and it blew people's minds that they would give away a map this good for free. I remember how excited I got that day. It's just a map that has really stood the test of time. A map that people who played Modern Warfare 2 will tell their children about 10 years from now when they're 20. It's a fan favorite map, and I personally think it is the best map in Modern Warfare 2, and that is why it has earned my number 1 spot. Agree with my list? Think of a map that I missed? Well, just comment down below, and don't forget to leave a like on this video, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay classy, guys.